Yo, it's definitely the Cloud Chaser TV, man. We back up in this thing again. You dig? Hey, man, we got some news to cover. You know what I'm saying? We got a special guest up today. It's Tommy Walker. Y'all seen him before on the channel. I'm gonna let Tommy introduce himself and let him know where y'all can find him at.
Okay, how you doing? My name is Tommy Walker. I approximately 5 years ago, I was in the federal system facing 3 life sentences. Went to school, educated myself, got my paralegal degree, and was very successful in working on a lot of high-profile cases. And the judges considered that as extraordinary, compelling circumstances in my case, and reduced my sentence down to time served, and told me that if he was to release me on the streets, if because of the success that I was having, that if I kept up doing this work, this type of work, that he would give me time served. And so that's what I'm doing today. I have my own business. Um, I have a research firm. I have a paralegal firm. We work with lawyers. We work for lawyers. We work for ourselves. We work for clients who can't afford lawyers. And we also designed the app that can help people fact check their cases, fact check other people's cases and stuff like that, and can answer basic questions when you're out on the street and you need help and you need assistance. Like, for example, you can get pulled over by the cops. You don't have your driver's license. You don't know what you can do, what rights you're entitled to, whether or not you're entitled to a lawyer. You just pick up the app, you call the app, you type into your question to the app, or you talk to the app, and it'll talk back to you, explain to you what your rights are, what you can do and what you can't do, what they can do, what they can't do, and so on. It will tell you whether or not you're entitled to walk out, whether entitled you walk free, what rights you have, and so on. It's very educational. We still in the process of putting it together. We're giving it out free right now to the first of the year, so that people could try it out, and so that people can help us figure out the kinks, so that it's working and it's helping us and assisting us through our everyday walks of life. It doesn't only, to be clear, it doesn't only just give you legal advice. It helps you with statistics, data, and educational questions that you might have. Challenging with the law, with school, and with this basic everyday knowledge.
Got you. And we're gonna kick it off. Today we're gonna start with Lil Durk. So today we're gonna be talking about a few different cases. Some of the high profile cases today will be Lil Durk, Diddy, and we're gonna start off with Lil Durk. Tommy, I know you ain't looked into it like as far as Lil Durk being indicted. He finally been indicted. They transferred him to California, and can you go over some of the new charges that they hit him with?
Well, he's been hit with some very serious charges, and depending on how the prosecutor presents this case, he could be looking at a couple of life sentences plus 30 years, 40 years, or either multiple life sentences. He's definitely looking at, from the face of the indictment, and I'm just going to glance through it real quick again. He's looking at approximately maybe 4 to 5 different life sentences.
Wow.
And those could actually be ran concurrent. Well, the guns cannot be ran concurrent with the murders, because he's charged with 924 C's. That's possession of a firearm and furtherance of a crime of violence, and he's also charged with 924 J, which is murder by firearm. And in the 2 cases that he have, I believe that I see 2 firearm charges. Those 2 firearms happen to be machine guns, and with machine guns, you're looking at a mandatory minimum consecutive sentence of 30 years at least at the small end.
So I know we had spoke about it. So like what that means, even if they was to offer him a deal at this point, like some type of plea, he will be looking at least 30 years, right?
Yeah, probably I'll say 30 years or better. Usually in these type of crimes, what I've seen through my experience, the average is about 30 to 45, depending on whether or not it's with cooperation or not.
Right.
And so on.
Wow, that's crazy. And then you said like the couple of charges, like the murder charge. that murder for hire is actually carrying a life sentence.
Right.
And I was asking you about that, like, so like when the feds go to kill somebody, does it go with time, or how much time they do? Then they'll put them on the list to be, killed, or how does that work?
Well, I'm saying they send you right out to they got places for you. Like I know people probably heard of what they call it, the Walking Dead roll, death roll, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they can send you out to ADX, put you in a solitary confinement until they actually get ready to kill you, until you finish fighting your appeals. The only thing is when you're dealing with these type of crimes, right, and you're looking at people with facing the death penalty, sometimes that alone, that process takes anywhere from 10 to 20 years or so, you know. So a lot of times a person can be facing the death penalty, and it might be 20 years before they even get killed. Some cases people waive their rights to appeals and stuff because they don't want to take their family through it, and they don't want to burn out all their money, burn out their hope, and burn out the energy in their loved ones. You know what I'm saying?
And like just speaking on that, like Lil Durk, he's a a big rapper. You know, this case could be expensive. Like fighting something like this, are you talking like millions of dollars or $1 million?
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. You know, you're looking at millions of dollars in just the trial, and that's not even considering the appeal and the post conviction motions that come after that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the appeal process, like, let me explain it this way: there's four different stages to challenge your trial and your conviction. The first is pre-trial, which is your discovery, and that's where he's at right now: arrest, arraignment, and stuff like that. Then you have the trial. Then, if you lose the trial, then you have the appeal. Then, if you lose the appeal, you have what's called post conviction, your habeas petitions and stuff like that. So that's four different avenues where he could be paying $2-3 million a piece just to try to get back home.
Right. Michael, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I want to say sometime. Let them know that when you get a charge with a death penalty, that's a different proceeding. You just because you get charged with a death penalty, don't mean you automatically, because you got to have the proof. They have to have direct evidence to prove a death penalty. Remember, you're going to the last stage, and it has to be beyond reason. It has to be clear and convincing. You hear me? You remember
Right,
that?
right.
You remember it's the same thing with Aaron them from Connecticut. Remember they went to trial. They had the death penalty, and they all stood up.
Mm-hmm.
But in 90% of the cases, that's a whole lot of things, because that's a whole proceeding. They have to, based on what I'm understanding with this Durk, what I've been hearing, it's through hearsay. It's through a guy, but you still have to prove certain things. Still, certain elements have to be proven. So I just wanted to add that in, and with everything that you said, because what you're saying is right.
Right. No, that's correct. Hey, Big Chuck, that's my man, Michael Palmer. I just want to introduce Michael Palmer. Me and Michael Palmer spent about 20 years together, man, in the federal system. We was a group of people when we first started out. We had a bunch of guys there in Lewisburg with us who was dedicated to the law library. And we used to just stay there, man, and work on each other's cases, help each other out and stuff like that, and so on. And me and Mike we both was super drug kingpin status. We both did approximately, he did a little bit more time than me, and we both was able to get out and get home, man. And now we back home, and we're trying to do positive things with our family and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And he does. Well, I'll let Michael Palmer introduce yourself if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
you can introduce yourself, Michael. Salute to the platform. Appreciate you coming through, bro. Yo, Michael, can you hear us?
All right, fellas, listen. Tommy Walker, like you said, I was the first in Washington D.C. to get the super kingpin before Rafus. That's another story. It was the Reagan and Bush administration. It was Reaganomics. But anyway, that's another story in itself. But a young man scared got to the penitentiary. Tommy Walker was in the law library, and Tommy, I kept going up there every day, and he said to me, Mike, why don't you just let me get you a job? He got me a job. At the time in Lewisburg Penitentiary, the Fourth Circuit was the circuits that is respected out of all the circuits, and the judges used to walk, and the judges used to come through Lewisburg, and that's when I seen the Fourth Circuit judge came through, and Tommy and I and a few other brothers, but mainly Tommy. He would challenge the judges and ask questions. A couple years later, they stopped that. Anytime they bring judges, they shut down the jail. But pro se litigants were the ones that were making law because we didn't have to go with we didn't have to go with their guidelines. Lawyers is a service to the court, so therefore they're not going to argue until Clinton came and come with that BS, with that anti-terrorist bill that made it one shot. But prior before, it was pro se litigants, and like I said, I'm grateful to Tommy because even when I left the penitentiary and I was in another penitentiary, we were still conversing. But he was the enlightener. He was the beacon that got me started to fight. He said, Mike, you're going to have to fight. You can't be paying these lawyers these money. You got to fight. And I had to learn. I had to put my Johnny Cash boots on and get in there with him, you know. So I'm grateful for that. But there's a lot of things that a lot of brothers don't know, that through the federal rules and criminal procedures, there is arguments in there before you just go. All society knows is that you go to trial, you go to do your appeal and you lose. No, it's not. A lot of these lawyers, that's where the lawyers come in and charge you. They don't want to do the work. I tell young brothers, learn your case, homie. You got 100,000 years and you running around playing basketball, you know. But that's it. I just want to add that on, fellas. I'm grateful for Tommy Walker. We're trying to do the right thing, man. I talk to the youngsters, just trying to educate our brothers and sisters, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Appreciate that. It just, y'all both can chime in on this. Just like even with Lil Durk case or Diddy or whomever, anybody that get hit by the feds, a lot of times people will say like, "Oh, that person cooked. They done. The feds don't come unless they got you." Can y'all elaborate on that?
Well, most definitely.
You gonna go first?
Yeah, you can go first, Mike. Go ahead.
One thing with the feds, like I said, you're right about that. When the Alpha Butt boys come and get you, they prepared, but all understand this. Sometimes overzealousness. You see what's happening with what's going on now. Back in the days, well, right now, and I'm not knocking this. I encourage what you're doing, but the government get put on point because back in the days they were so overzealous to get you convicted. They make mistakes. F. Lee Bailey says there's every trial has a loophole. I went to trial. I didn't cop out. I picked 13. So I had loopholes in mind. You know, everybody that went to trial had loopholes. And just because the hype right now with Lil Durk, he's a high profile. He's just like the same thing they tried to do with Master P. Yeah, Cain and Abel's father. He was a hitman for them. But all they wanted when Master P was worth over 200, all they wanted him to say is, just tell us Master P did that. Because they wanted to take you down by all means. They don't care about that. They just want to make a name. Remember the fake war and drugs? That's what it was all about. It's about money. Because, again, we go back to the Oliver North and all that. Here's the president, the commander-in-chief. They're bringing drugs in. You feel me? So, go ahead, Tom. Add on.
Yeah. No, well, what he's saying is that I'm just going to give my definition of it, right? The federal system and most of your criminal justice system is an illusion. And it gives the appearance of fair and just trials. It gives the appearance that the federal government is doing their job, and that going back to something that you said, Big Chuck, is that when the feds come get you, they got you. What happens is when the feds come get you, they come get you and they threaten so many people with coercion, with threats. And you've seen that, you know what you've seen that at really good at? You've seen it in Thug's case when remember Woody didn't want to testify?
Right,
and
right.
They threatened him that he was going to go to jail. And what the judge did, the judge held a meeting. He held a meeting, didn't even let the defense know about the meeting. And he threatened Woody in that hearing that if he didn't testify, he was going to jail. He wasn't going to get out of jail until he testified or until the trial was over. And Woody didn't want to deal with that. He didn't want to go to jail. So he made the decision to testify. Now, if we did that, of course, it would be unlawful. Okay. And it was actually unlawful, in my opinion, for the judge to actually do that and to not to tell the lawyers. But my point is that if this was not a TV trial and it was not a high profile trial, something like this would have just went unknown. You follow what I'm saying? And the defendant would have paid for it dearly. You know what I'm saying? But because the trial was on TV and it's
Yeah.
played every day. These guys showed you, in my opinion, Woody and them showed you what the criminal justice system really actually looks like. Um, he said in his interviews or in his testimony, I lied every time I felt it was necessary to lie to get myself out of trouble. That's the system we deal with. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You dealing with a system like now, right? And I'm just going to now go back to Lil Durk for a second, where he might have committed some crimes. I don't know what he committed. I wasn't there with him. I don't have any idea, nor do I care, to be honest with you. Okay. But the feds probably have him at a level where he's facing a life sentence and he's probably only really looking at 20 years, 25 years on what they could actually prove. You understand what I'm saying? His co-defendants are probably looking at 5 years, 3 years, but they're being threatened with life sentences, 20 years. They're being held that if because the guns was used in the crime, and if you don't tell, that's why you got your aiding and abetting charges. If you don't tell, you're going to be held accountable for the use of the gun, and you're going to end up with a life sentence too. So now what happens is, to them, they see that as a ticket to get out of there. And so what they do is they put the story together the way that the prosecutor wanted told. And that's the way they present the case. And it's almost like hard to defend. And the only way you can really see this really well, and the reason I have the vision, because I sat there for years watching cases, working on cases, and so on. And like I said, I'm going to use my case again. And I said this last time I was here. I noticed I was arrested, indicted with 17 people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And those are the people that testified against me, not the full 17. It was maybe about 11 of them out of the 17. But the point I'm trying to make was all of those people got arrested with me and after me. So where was the case prior to my arrest? It was no case. The case was, emphasis added, created at the trial through the testimony.
Yeah.
Through the witnesses, through the government theory. You know, it's like I said, you can get caught up in a conspiracy. And if you notice, most of these cases you read, most of the cases you guys are talking about, always have that conspiracy charge in there.
Yeah, it does.
Why? Because if we arrest 100 people, we know through statistics, 97.2 cop out. Okay. So if you just got 2 people out of that 97 that plead guilty, say we're just going to say the whole 97% don't cop out. There's 2 people. Once the 2 people cop out, they're agreeing that a conspiracy exists, because all you need is 2 people for that agreement.
Wow.
And then once they agree, then now it's difficult for anybody to tell a jury that a conspiracy didn't exist, because you got 2 people saying, yeah, conspiracy exists and I played a part in it.
Right.
And give me my time for doing my crime. And those people was a part of me. Now listen to the indictment. Listen to the way the indictment reads. Those known and unknown. So you don't even have to know them.
Right. You just know of the story, right?
Right. You just know of the story, right? And you participated in the story, and you're held accountable for everything that those individuals are doing, or everything that those individuals have, all those crimes that they have committed. You know, you have to really look at this picture and accept it for what it is. Like if you look at, and I want you to hear me clearly, I'm just going to go back to the Young Thug case again, right? If you look at how dangerous they labeled Woody to be, and how Thug painted him dangerous in some of his rap songs and stuff like that, right? How do you let that guy back out on the streets and say he's not dangerous because he's testifying on your behalf? You understand what I'm saying? You got to listen to it now. How do you let him back out on the street in the neighborhood where your kids and your family live and say, okay, it's cool because he's one of us, he's not dangerous? But if he doesn't work with us, if he doesn't cooperate with us, now he becomes very dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
He becomes a threat, you know, and that's the tool that they use to paint this picture of conspiracy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the sad thing is that we have a lot of brothers that's incarcerated, and we live on those theories, and we live on those ghost stories and those stories of trying to be a legend. And all it's doing is supporting that theory. You understand what I'm saying? You know, you start thinking about it, right? And looking at the facts, and I'll just give you some facts, right? The average guy convicted of a drug kingpin status doesn't even have the money to pay for an attorney when he goes to trial.
It's crazy.
Okay, but the amount of time that he's getting for the amount of drugs that he's allegedly dealt, or that they're saying that he dealt with, you would think that he would have millions of dollars.
Yep. You would think.
You
You would
know,
think
so
he got millions and millions like put up, and he able to fight, and then you, like you said, you hear about some of these situations. They don't have the money, and
right.
I think somebody was telling me, and maybe you can, chime in on this. But like, say for example, if you, I think I seen Rallo, he just came home from the feds, and he was saying this. He was like, so if every trip you did 250,000, right? Every trip you did 250,000. They caught you out the 4 trips. They gonna put on the indictment that you doing $1 million
Mm-hmm.
per week versus these was all different events. It wasn't $1 million at a time, but they'll calculate everything from, like, say they was following you for 5 years or 3 years, whatever they have seen you move. They gonna put that all in the indictment, saying that you was moving, say, $10 million. If that's was the total, is that how they do it?
Yeah, well, yes, most definitely they do it like that. I give you a better scenario. I worked on this murder case out of the Bronx, right? And in that particular case, it was 5 people convicted of murder. But listen to this here: 1 shot, 1 kill. You with me? 1 shot, 1 kill, but 5
Yeah.
people convicted of murder. Now, when the prosecutor sells that story, the story is we convicted this year 5 people of murder in this one particular town, but only 1 person got killed, and it was 1 shot. And the person who did the actual shooting and killing is the one who testified against the other 5. They was just a participant in the conspiracy. You understand what I'm saying? But now that picture that's painted through that federal system that's so good is that the prosecutor looks good and the officers look good because they have 5 arrests and 5 convictions for murder, but only 1 guy got killed and only 1 guy got shot. So you really actually got 1 murder that through their facts and their calculation that they converted into 5 murders. Okay. And then it goes back to what you're saying too, is that you had a case, I think it was Lawrence out of the 11th Circuit one time. I remember back in the 90s, and you had some little young kids on a corner selling drugs, and they were selling nickels and dimes. And the cops pulled them over after 4 years. And something we talked about earlier, the cops pulled them over after 4 years and caught them, and they had about $200 worth of drugs on them. And what they did was they charged them with conspiracy. And then what they did was they took that $100 worth of drugs that they had, and they calculated that for every day for a 4-year period. And that's what they held them accountable for.
Right. That's what I was hearing. And a couple of things I want to get into before we move on from Lil Durk. So when you looked at the indictment, did you see like if they was able to recover the guns that was used?
Not really, but you can almost assume, like I said earlier, that because the guns involved are machine guns, and machine guns have to meet certain criteria as far as the shooting rounds, the calibers, how many shells the thing hold, that you can almost tell that they have those guns in possession. In my opinion, I would assume that they have those guns. But in a lot of federal cases, like I was charged with 924Cs, they never had the guns. They never got the guns. It's just that people told that I had the guns, that they seen the guns, that they witnessed a couple of times I sold them drugs. I had a gun on me, but they never possessed the gun. They never seized the gun. So with the feds, anything's possible. You could just have a person testifying that it was a machine gun, and he know it was a machine gun because he shot it several times, and that could meet the criteria.
Or somebody in the area going to testify that they heard a whole bunch of shots and it sounded like a machine gun.
Right. Exactly.
Right. And as far as bail, like I noticed even with Diddy, which we're gonna get to talk about Diddy a little bit in a few, but when it comes to Lil Durk, he was tied to his community, right? He had the Hero Foundation. He was even working with the mayor of Chicago, and other organizations throughout Chicagoland, the suburbs, on pushing the peace movement. Even one of his last concerts, days prior to his arrest, he was putting out there it was a peace movement, and some of the people that could be considered his ops was actually in that building, and they were promoting peace. So what I'm saying is, usually they'll be like, "Yo, you need to be tied to the community." So we got that he's tied to the community. What other reasons why he won't get bail?
Oh, because he had a couple of he had made a couple of reservations for plane rides out of the country,
Mm-hmm.
and the federal have a law. They have a law, and I think it's anybody's facing over 10 years, they have the right to deny you bail. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at his mandatory minimum charges, okay, he's under the federal law, he's not entitled to a bail. Even now here go back to something I said earlier. All of this is an illusion. It gives the appearance of being fair. Under your Eighth Amendment, everybody should be entitled to a bail. So how do you not be entitled to a bail?
Right.
How does Puff Daddy? He's offering $50 million, and he's not going to get a bail.
And he's another person that's tied to the community.
Right. Well, see that's what I mean when I say these cases give the appearance that they're being fair. They give the appearance that the feds got you, but until you do your homework and search and study, you'll see that it's actually a different ball game.
For sure. So yeah, man, we gonna get into it like Diddy. So Diddy, you just spoke on the fact that he did offer up $50 million, and when somebody put that type of bail package together, what would be a good reason? I know you said because of the charges and the level of the sentencing, the minimums that's required on that particular case, they could deny. But him being not even really affiliated with say gang activity, even like his crime, you ain't seen in other cases, they might be have a little bit more leniency.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they doing this to Diddy? What's your opinion on that?
A lot of people is involved in Diddy's case. All right. Now, but you notice a lot of people are tied to Diddy's case, but they only arrested Diddy, right?
Right.
Okay. So once you understand the federal system and how they operate, it's the mindset. Diddy is being used as a fear factor to all others. So if you run this little vision that they give him with Diddy, no bail and stuff like that for a couple of months, once they go in there and get some other high profile celebrities, what do you think they're going to do? Once they come in to talk to them, they're going to talk.
Yeah, they're going to talk because
they don't want to be put in the same position as Diddy. They don't want to be able to say, man, Diddy offered him $50 million. I don't even have $1 million. I got to talk. That's their strategy. That's their fear factor that they use on people. They do an excellent job of doing it.
Yeah, and then not to mention that a lot of these people, we would assume they're probably not involved in the street, so they probably wouldn't have no sort of code, right?
Right. That's correct. That is correct.
It's like, hey, man, I'm a civilian. Shit, like I'm not going to jail. I'm not going to jail behind no party.
But if you see the way they pushing the image of Diddy, that Diddy's never coming home, he's going to be the rest of his life, no bail and stuff like that. What's going to happen is you got people already finding justification to tell and talk. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're getting their stories together, because they already know it's going to happen, and they know if they come in there with their stories, they're going home. But if they don't, there's a possibility they might not be going home.
Mm-hmm. And then, like, what you think about the fact that a lot of like Diddy and supported rather, whatever they say, blackmail or whatever the case may be, right? But from the outside looking in, I don't know Diddy. I'm not sure if you know him, but just from me outside looking in, and over the years, he supported a bunch of different people, from politicians to music executives, even artists, actors. The list goes on, right? Mm-hmm. And some of the individuals that's coming out that's like, you know what, I want to see this case go all the way through. He hasn't been convicted. We live in America. He should go through his due justice. You know, I don't want to put that out on Diddy. You know, I'm a ride for Diddy right now. But then you see the people that he actually was helping, they quiet right now. They
Mhm.
quiet. They you can't get them to say shit, you know.
Well,
What's
see,
your opinions about that?
it becomes a point, right, when you look at certain individuals, right, and you say to yourself, okay, man, this guy's done. I'm getting out of the way. You understand what I'm saying? Um, Diddy, and I'm not saying anything bad about him because I don't really know what he did, what he didn't do. You know what I'm saying? Um, I don't want to prejudge him, but they already starting to paint a picture as to who Diddy is and what he's done and stuff like that. Okay, and that's separating everybody who have the power, and that's how the feds work. Everybody who have the power or the strength to fight for him no longer want to do that.
Right.
You know, and it's not that they don't want to help or that Diddy's not their friend, or you know, the federal government has a way of putting people against each other. You see it. I'm gonna give you an example. You see it in the federal system, right? You go in the federal system, man. You got your white section, you got your black section, you got your Spanish sections, you got your gang section over here, you got your state boroughs here, your state cities here. Everybody's divided, okay? Because once you come together, you become a little bit stronger. You understand what I'm saying? You know, when you're divided like that, it's not my problem. That's Diddy's problem. I'm sorry, man. You know,
Yeah.
and the help is no longer there, or the assistance that should be there is no longer there.
No, for sure, for sure. Hey y'all, if y'all just joining the chat, I know we streaming on 3 different channels. DOTC, DOTCC, clips, Big Chuck page, and Death for the Cloud Chaser. If y'all could click the tap the screen, you'll be able to like the video. And if y'all want to drop what city you tapping in from, you know, send in the comments. But tell me, let me see if Michael want to chime in on this. So Michael, you heard about what's going on with Diddy, right? Where everybody pretty much heard that, right? Mike, you there?
Hey, Michael, you gotta hit the unmute button, bro. He, he's driving. So give him a
Yeah,
little second.
He was driving,
yeah,
so
he
he
driving.
might, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just crazy to me. Like yo, Reds, like some of the stuff that you heard that you know about Diddy. You want to ask Tommy anything?
I mean, I'm just a hood nigga. Like, so Tom, if like, what approach would you be taking as working on defense for Diddy right now, if you were working on that case?
See, if I was working on Diddy's case, right, I would put in my mind, Diddy, you're gonna do some time. Where do they have us at, and where don't they have us at? Let's focus. Let's focus on conceding to the fact where they have us at, what they can prove against us. Get that out the way, and focus on what they can't. Because if you let everything get mixed up, it's going to cause chaos. You understand what I'm saying? You have to say, well, okay, they got me on a rape charge over here. I'm going to plead guilty to that, or I'm not going to even contest that. But I am going to contest this over here because I'm going to contest the person's age because the person was not underage. I could prove that the person was underage, or I could prove that I didn't have the knowledge that the person was underage. So, you know, you got different angles that you could challenge it, but I see Diddy as a marked man. And I see that by examining how many people supporting him, how many people running from him or acting like they don't really know him or don't care. But I also see how many people he can actually hurt and bring down with him. But the thing is, it's he might tarnish their character with things that he might be able to say about them. But if the government and the feds don't want him, then they're not going to get him.
Okay, so Tommy, look, I wanted to ask this. Look, how far for what is the character witness like? Like what is that? Like, how can you break that down? Like, could they go and go say, yo, Reg,
not. I ain't saying I know Diddy, so nobody don't put me with none of
Well,
that
see,
shit. If
see,
they was, for example, if they were saying like, yo, Reg, you knew Diddy back in 2010, could they subpoena me for being at the club at that party?
yes, they could.
And
Most definitely.
and that would make me a character witness.
Well, see, when you talk about character witness, right? And I put emphasis
Yeah.
on the word character. Okay. A character witness is a person who's speaking on your character. Okay, if you was at the parties, you wouldn't be speaking on Diddy's character. You might be speaking on the unlawful acts and the crimes that he actually committed, but you wouldn't be a character witness. Character witness would be like, oh, I know Diddy all my life. I growed up with him. He's very educated. He's a good man. He's a respectful man. And I don't think he did these crimes that you're saying that he did, because he just doesn't have the time to do them in his busy schedule.
So could they subpoena J-Lo?
Yes, they're gonna. She's definitely gonna be there.
What about Shine?
Definitely, he's definitely gonna be there. He's gonna probably be one of the major witnesses against Diddy.
But he's not a U.S. citizen, right? So how does that work?
You know, they'll subpoena him down here. They'll get him down here, or either they'll do a Zoom. You know, that's one of the things they're doing in federal court now too. A lot of Zooms. People out of the country. Yeah.
Wow. So okay. And
but that,
go ahead, Rich.
No, you got it, bro. He said enough for me.
No, as far as like, you know, you got Gene Deal. I'm not sure if you heard about Gene Deal. So Gene Deal, he's saying that he can't be called to court because of the time frame that the feds are using. And you just spoke on Shine. So it is possible that Gene Deal could be called to the stand, correct?
Yes. I believe he's gonna be called to the stand.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, because you know, you're talking about a person who's been documenting certain things on the internet for over 10 years, as well as have like 2 books on it.
Right, a person like Gene Deal, right? They would, a lot of times, and this is the difference between certain witnesses, they wouldn't use him as a witness to convict Diddy, but they would use him as a witness to connect the dots, to verify their theory, to show what they're saying is true, to show what they're saying is could be possibly because of Diddy character, as far as the way Gene Deal knows him.
Right.
So what if Gene went up there and say, hey Tommy, you my attorney, I'm just going up there and plead the fifth, I'm not saying a word.
Well, I'm saying he can go up there and plead the fifth, but you know, that doesn't mean they're not going to hold him in contempt. You see, that's what they would. That's what they were going to do with Woody.
And they can still use some of the footage that he already spoke on, correct?
Well, they can use the footage, but not as direct evidence, because he would have the right to cross-examine the witnesses against him. But if they're not using it as evidence, emphasis that if they're not using it as evidence to convict him, they can use it as evidence to show character and to show the truthfulness of other defendants. That like, say if somebody else was to testify, I was at the club and I seen Diddy did this. They can say who's there, and they might say Gene Deal was there. Then they call Gene Deal and just ask Gene Deal a simple question: was you at the club on that date? Then what happens is once Gene Deal says yes, he's just supporting that person's theory that person was at that scene of the crime.
Wow.
You know, so you have like
without even giving further information, just
right,
because
exactly, because all the prosecutor's doing with that type of theory is that's connecting the dots. You know, it's almost like remember that example I gave earlier about the gun, not having a gun, but you got testimony from a doctor. The doctor saying, "I've been a doctor for 30 years. I worked in the army where people was getting shot." Mm-hmm. Well, when you seen the mark on this guy's chest, what did you think that was? Well, based upon my 20 years of experience, it is clearly a gunshot wound. So your gun is there through that testimony, even though you don't have the gun.
Right. And then like what Diddy, like, so we spoke about bail earlier and how he offered the 50 million. Is it any chance before trial or even during trial, is it a chance that he could like file some sort of motion and get bail?
Oh yeah, so you can, as long as certain circumstances change, you can always file a motion to for a new detention hearing or for a new bail hearing.
So in Diddy case, more than likely, you know, this dude is up. He got millions. So
Mhm.
more than likely, you were going to see him have a few different bail hearings moving into trial and probably even doing trial, correct?
No, I doubt it, because I think his attorneys are under the assumption that he's not going to get a bail, so they're not going to want to waste the time and the energy and the money to fight for bail.
Mm-hmm.
They probably would want to spend that time, that energy, on fighting for the case and trying to get cases dismissed, trying to find out who the witnesses is and stuff like that, and so on.
And just from, you know, just what we see right now, what's on the surface, do you think that Diddy got a chance in fighting the feds on this particular case?
I see a lot of circumstantial evidence against him that's going to hurt him. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of it has to do with a lot of the podcasts you see, the interviews that you see,
Yeah,
the
back.
the stories. You know, who that's Palmer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm back. I apologize, gentlemen. I'm on my way to New York and JFK. I got a family member coming up from Jamaica, and I got cut off because I got lost in Queens. But I'm back on the track now. All right. This is beautiful right here. What y'all doing, man? I don't know how I ain't hear about this, but I support this, boy, for real, man. This guy with a 21 gun salute right here.
No,
Black
salute.
people, we educating ourselves, man.
Yeah,
All
but
right,
we
go
definitely
ahead.
gotta we definitely gotta I'm gonna hit up Reds and he can get with Tommy, but we definitely gotta do a one-on-one interview with you too, because I want to get your
Oh,
story out
definitely,
there.
baby boy. Boy, that ain't nothing, man. I ain't got no problem, man. We about this proactive. I look this right here, like I said with Tom the one that gave me the motivation to realize and say, yo, we can't be paying these lawyers these money because they come in here and they don't care about us. So when you educated and you know your case, the lawyers are apprehensive on trying to run one on you. Because a lot of brothers come to jail, they come in jail, especially with high profile cases, they put their stuff down, they go out there, play basketball, work out. Yo, homie, come to the law library. They laughed at me, they laughed at Tom. For real. The same brothers that laughed at us is calling us now. Hey, yo, man, can you look this up? Look that, and it's sad. It hurt my heart, homie.
Mm-hmm.
It hurt my heart, for real.
Hey, Michael.
Yo.
So let them know, look, how long you was locked up for, and now
I was locked up for. I was arrested, and I got convicted in Washington D.C. for the 848B, the super kingpin charge. I was given a 2 life sentence in 20 years, and I ended up doing 34 years. I knew in my heart that I wasn't going to do this, but my fight, like I said, I give my condolence to Tom for giving me the inspiration, to always telling me, yo, Mike, the only way we're going to get out of this is to educate ourselves. I became a paralegal through necessity. I don't like it. Not going to lie to you. I've been offered jobs since I come home, and I told them I don't want to do it. I don't want to take nobody's life in my hand, and I'm too emotional, you know? But, I 18 credits from associate degree. I would have been finished, but I focused on my law work. A physical trainer, cook, public speaker, a coach, a life coach, a mentor. And I came home in society. I thought that society would embrace it that way, but they wouldn't. Things are slow. Everybody's themselves. And that's what I do. I talk to the youths. I did it on my own for 4 months. I was going into the youth's place in Jersey until my PO, till they transferred the paperwork up here and gave me a PO. And the PO says I gotta stop that. I had a IG and I had a Facebook, which I still have my Facebook. It tells my whole story. It tells about my daughter. With my daughter, she's a doctor now. She was going through. She graduated from Temple and Rutgers College in Jersey when she got her doctorate. But she started the Change.org while we were fighting because the crack. They took 5 grams in my case, multiplied it times 300 times. They charged me for making $7 to $8 million in a 10-month period, but yet the government didn't prove its case. Okay, they like Tommy was saying, what they do, they pile charge. They'll give an indictment and have all these different charges on it, hoping that you will cop out. But it's called pile charging the case. So my count started with six counts. When they extradite me down to DC, because I was a face with no name. When they extradited me down to D.C., it went up to 32 counts. Then they brought it back down to 29 counts, and so forth. And the lawyer and I had to say I did something dumb as a young black man. I had to retain the same lawyer as Mayor Barry had. And my situation was Mayor Barry was a customer. As sad as it sounds, Chuck Brown, all that. I'm not proud of that. I'm ashamed of the choices I made. So I try to make right. Why I'm going to Columbus right now? I came out. I've been out 17 months, and I ran with what I had. And I went down. The guy Yusuf from Central Park 6. He's in politics now. He was speaking at the Carter Building. That's down in Harlem, and he was running for politics. They had the Attorney General there. They had the judges, lawyers, and all that. So I worked the room, and I stepped to him, and I was talking to him. And the community leader heard me, a politician. He heard me say, "Yo, you very articulate." He said, "Are you familiar with Columbia University?" I didn't. He told me. I went, made the interview. I went through the true vetting, and I made it. The reason at 62 years old, I'm going to school. I have 10 grandkids, 3 daughters, 1 son, 10 grandkids. I want to show, and I want to show to the youngsters that it's never too late to educate yourself. And just because we made a mistake and the wrong choice, you can make right. It's not how you start the race, it's how you end the race, you know? And a lot of them feel that, oh man, I have nothing coming. I said, no, homie, everybody got a past, but it's what you do with it now. You can take that, turn it around, and make some, like Biggie says, I went from negative to positive. And that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? What's beautiful, I'm not bitter. It humbles me because before I went in jail, I was cocky. I was 25. I could go in a car dealership or to Tiffany's, fly out to Cali, Rodeo Drive, and do what I do as a young man. So I was cocky. So I used to look, I'm not going to say look down on people, but I didn't take a chance with people. When I went to prison, it humbled me. I talk to these youngsters, it brings tears to my eyes because I don't know if any one of you all have children, but as soon as you have a child, you look at the world differently. Because now we ask ourselves, am I a hypocrite? I didn't care about nothing, but now you don't want nothing to happen to your family. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I went in the military at 16 years old on a parental signature. When I came out, like I said, that's another story. The military, as much as it was a bad situation. Anyway, I came out, I ended up going to California. I went to LA Harbor Tech. I had 3 sisters. They're Chinese Jamaican. They were going to LA Harbor. They were going to what's the college out there in California? They'll come to me. But anyway, I ended up going to LA Harbor Tech, and I was doing computer science, one course of psychology, and computer science. I stayed a semester, dropped out, and I came back to New York, and I went to Valhalla Community, changed it to business organization. I took what I learned, and I went to the streets because I'm not a follower. I'm not one. I'm a Jamaican. I'm not one where people can't spin me. Mm-hmm. So I came, and as sad as it sounds, I took what I learned to the streets. When DC was popping at the time in the 80s, I dressed up like a crackhead, and I went down there and I act like Pookie. For a week, I stayed in the street, rolled in dirt, and I took intel. Came back up to New York, came back down, and the rest was history. That's another story in itself. That's another story, homie, because I realized that there is no such thing. I don't think there is no such thing as a gangster. We learn these habits. We take on these habits. All of us got good heart. All of us starts with good family, but we pick up bad habits because a lot of these older dudes that's supposed to be homeboys, a lot of them is ignorant. And out of ignorance, a lot of them was sick in their mind. A lot of them out of ignorance, they direct the youngsters. They directed. I had one that directed me. He used to tell me, go do this, and I was quick to do that because my whole thing was I was trying to please you. Mm-hmm. So in the process of that, you end up doing what they say. And now that man, look here, homie, when I was in jail, man, I cried like a motherfucker. Excuse the language. I go in my cell, my 6x10. I wrote in my memoirs. I said, when my father interject the water in my mother, which is the sperm in my mother's belly, and I'm going up the fallopian tube. I was in a cell. In that cell was my mind, my color, my intellect, and now I'm back in a cell. So now I have a choice. Am I going to go up or down? I choose to go up. I choose to educate myself. I got in my spirituality. You know, I started going to church. I told a lot of young dudes, they said, how can I get out of this gang? I said, the only way you can get out of it with certain gangs is through finding a religion, homie. A lot of them was doing that. A lot of them I talked to. A lot of them I hear their stories. And it humbled me even more because everybody got a different story. Now, I'm going to say this to you all, gentlemen and ladies. Take your right hand and bend your middle finger and try to hold your fist. Try that and tell me, can you do it?
No,
can anybody do it? You can. Open your hand and grab your fist. You see the difference? You shouldn't have more than 5 people in your circle. And you see how every finger is different? That represents a different personality. And that's the type of people you should have around you. Everybody's supposed to have a different personality. You don't want a yes man or a yes woman around you. You want somebody that when you say, I'm going to do this, they can say, hold on, bro. I don't think so. You don't want somebody, yeah, man, go ahead. Just some JoJo dancer. That's what our problem is. We say we love one another, but we don't respect one another's opinion. You understand? One thing again, I come back to Tom. He told me straight up when he said, yo, Nat. Because I had a temper on me. He'll tell you. I've been in 16 incidents. And even before I left prison, I kept a bulletproof vest on me all the time. I never trust no bad. I've been around my homeboys out of Jamaica, and I don't trust people because people tend to be jealous and envious. I always kept a bulletproof vest is made out of a sweat top. You have an extra padding around your kidneys, your liver, your heart. And I wore a 4X shirt. And anybody will tell you that know me, yeah, that's a man, but you always see him by himself. He don't cut no cards. You're not going to take none. So I say that to say this is that Tommy said to me one day, he said, Not, this ain't going to get it. This ain't going to get it, man. Educate yourself. And I ran with that. And I keep saying that because one thing we don't do is thank the little people. And not saying Tom is little, but I got to give people their praise when they be. And that's what we need to do in this day and time. To all your brothers and sisters that's doing this, compliment one another, man. It don't take much to say, hey, man, we doing a good job, man. We educating our people. We bringing this to the forefront. Because there's so much energy it takes to tear each other down than to build us up. And that's part of the story, homie, but I don't want to hold up too much because I'm long-winded. Trust me. They'll tell you. Tom had to say, yo, man, we're going to take a break. Let me go get a Coke and a smile. Inside, he used to tell me, yo, Mike, yo, man, look here, man, I got legal work. One thing I say about him, too, he broke night. He'll go in. I don't know how he did it, and I still don't know how he did it. That man do law. We work in the law library. Then he go in his cell, whatever cases. I walk by the cell. He's up, still up 4, 3 in the morning. I said, damn, nigga, you don't sleep? Yeah. So this is what's happening, man. This is what we got to do. We bring him back. We trying to educate and talk to the youngsters. And I commend you all, both sisters and brothers, what you all are doing. You all are doing something beautiful. Ignorance. There's no excuse for ignorance. Ignorance is bliss, they say. One thing they say, if you want a black man not know something, put it in a book. And I'm sorry to say, our 4 brothers and sisters, they lazy. But we gonna get it right. We're living with brothers like and sisters like you, and Tommy, and whoever else is there. We're gonna get it right. You might not save the world, but if you touch 1, 2, 5 souls, because they'll spread it on, you've done a beautiful job, man.
No,
so with that said, I'm going to gratefully fall back till you get me, and then we can do the one-on-one still. I have no problem with that. You got my number, homie.
Salute,
you hear me?
Salute.
So
appreciate that.
I ain't got no problem with that, man. Like I said, I'm not bitter. I works out every morning, you know, because you got to work out. You got to take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? And I try to, everybody, I'm not caught up. I come from an island with many different ethnicities. I got cut. I'm cut up like a bag of D. You hear me? I'm fair skinned, I'm black. But so I look at people and I tell people, I say, look, man, you got to help your next person. You don't got to know somebody. And don't, when you help somebody, don't look for nothing in return. Because blessings will come many different ways. You know what I mean? So this is a blessing right here for me. This is something Tom will tell you. I always wanted to get something on a proactive to convey my story. And this is a blessing right here, what you all are doing. You hear me?
No,
and I salute all of y'all, for real. That's
salute.
a real, that's some G-ish, for real.
I appreciate you,
all right?
Bro. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you all. And I thank you, Tommy, for allowing this, for being a for being a conduit to plugging me in here, brother.
No problem, brother.
You know we do, Tam. I salute you too, man.
All right.
We have a Guinness style later on, man. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Salute. So, but before we leave off on the Diddy topic, I just want to add on, like, so Trump, Trump, he's about to be the 47th president, and something had like a story post. So I think it was a story post had went out on Diddy page, was basically happy about this situation. Like, is Trump being president? How could that affect Diddy's case?
Well, see, I think for the positive, in my opinion, mainly because Trump is a Diddy. Okay, he's just a Diddy in a different color, and the system is treating Trump the same way that they're treating Diddy. You know what I'm saying? And Trump is aware of that. Trump, when I first got out of jail, right? And keep in mind, as you already know, you mentioned it last time we talked, was that Trump signed the bill that changed the law that gave everybody a second chance or a second look at their particular cases.
Right.
Passion release motion through the crack laws that have changed. Okay. When I first got out, Trump organization tried to hire me to work with them with guys who was filing for clemency motions, pardons, and stuff like that, because Trump didn't want regular attorneys or judges or prosecutors to work on the panel. He figured that if anybody knowed who should be able to have a second look at their case or get out of jail based upon their rehabilitation, it should be somebody who's been through the system and who knows the system. And that was his strategy. And I thought that it was very brilliant for him to come up with that type of ideal. And if it wasn't for the the COVID-19, I probably would have been with him. But COVID-19 happened, and one of the guys who was pushing for me to come out there with Trump actually died from COVID. He caught it on the campaign with Trump and them. So I just made the decision not to go. But I think that Trump is a little bit wiser. He made a lot of foolish mistakes he'd made before, but I think when it comes to the criminal justice system, I think he's going to do right by that, because he knows. I don't know if you heard him when they was trying to prosecute him. He made a statement that it should be illegal for the federal government to pay somebody to testify against somebody, and that's where you're getting all these conspiracy charges, these outrageous charges, these stacking charges that Palmer's talking about, because you're paying people to do that. Half of these charges doesn't even exist, and it's like, I don't know. I think that he could be good for the system. I don't agree with a lot of his policies, but that's just me. That's my personal choice. You know what I'm saying? But I think for the system, I think he's going to be good, for the criminal justice system.
So what you think about this? Like, so just getting into moving on into Trump a little bit. So Trump, he pretty much, he's known now as like a felon, right? He has a felony, correct?
Right. Yeah. Matter of fact, let me say this one thing too before about Trump before I forget.
Mm-hmm.
We worked on a case, Panama. What was his name? Jamie. I can't even think of his name right now. Anyway,
Davis. Tom, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Davidson?
Yeah, that's
Davidson.
Jamie Davidson, right? He filed a clemency motion with Trump. Now listen to me very carefully. He filed a clemency motion with Trump, and he had a murder against a federal agent, and Trump signed off on it, and he went home on a clemency.
Let me add on something if I can, right?
Go ahead.
Can you all hear me? Now, I'm a Gemini. Trump's a Gemini, right?
I'm a Gemini.
His mindset, I see his mindset, and Trump is going to do something like Tom says. But I feel with the Diddy situation, because Diddy and him is friends, because what separates people, regardless of what, is not about color, it's your tax level. They have mingled at the same level. They have sat down at the same table. They have conversed. They share the same perversion mentality. Okay? They're now saying Diddy and what's the dude that they allegedly committed suicide, but he didn't. Bottom line is this. The rich look out for the rich. Now, as much as, like Tom was saying, everything seems sensationalized. That's what the government do. They sensationalize everything. Right now, Diddy's in the Diddy this, Diddy that. But in the long run, trust me, and this sounds crazy, before Trump leave them 4 years, if Diddy, whatever time he do and he put in, he's gonna do something for him. I feel that way.
That too. I gotta believe that too.
I feel that way because a lot of money, a lot of transactions. You got to understand when you get to a certain level. I got a cousin. He don't talk to me. I got Jew in my family. My choices have been embarrassed. He's over a $10 billion hedge fund. He needs to get slapped in his face for real. That's my first cousin. Don't want to talk to me. My aunt tell me about take it easy. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry for expressing that with you all. I'm not a violent person, but he needs some wake up call. But the rich hang with the rich because when he goes and they hang out, it's so fake. It's so fake that it's like you hidey tidy. You can't be yourself. Everybody's trying to impress one another, and we know that after people go on, everybody going in their own world. But I strongly believe that he will do something for him, some form of way, because Puffy ain't stupid. You understand? You remember when Andre Rell left Uptown and he went to Motown and he messed up the roster of Motown and they fired him, but he sued them. He has a clause that you can't find. They had to pay him $10 million. With that said, what happened? The Puffy, the Babyface, the L.A. Reid, and there's another black person I can't remember, but they canvassed him. They pulled him in because when you at a certain financial level, you all protect one another. You understand what I'm saying? They wouldn't let him go, so they kept him afloat so he could financially. So believe it or not, it's not about color. The only color that these people respect is green. Trust me, it's only for the public. They throw out the black and white. We get caught up in that. The same thing in prison. You and a white dude could be having a good conversation and walking. But when you get to that kitchen, and Tom will tell you, especially Lewisburg, you get to that kitchen, he going one way, you going one way. I can't bring him to my table because you're going to have ignorant people. You bring that cracker to the table. And you can't bring a black dude to his table or we bring that nigga to the table. It's just that unwritten law. These are things that the rich are just like they say with the president. The president is just a puppet behind the elites that makes the choices. So everything in life, man, see the world, like I tell people, see the world for how it is, not what it appears to be. And that's what a lot of people do, see it how it appears to be. You got to see it how it is. With that said, gentlemen, I'm going to have to take an exodus because I'm at the airport now and I got lost again. The person been there for an hour, so I'm going to get chewed out. But it was a pleasure with everybody. I'm going to get chewed out, man. I can't even blame nobody.
Peace and blessings, bro. We appreciate you.
One love, bro.
Go. All right.
Y'all big up yourself. Everybody in there big up themselves. You understand? I'm going to take I don't drink, so they take what we used to do too. I remember time, it was Christmas time, and I said to Tom, I got a 7-Up, man, in the lock I had for like a couple months, man. We went and shook it up and busted. That was our champagne, people. That was our champagne. That bottle of that little can of 7-Up.
Man, you
right now, y'all
pick up your people. Go pick up your people.
Yeah, I'm going, man. One love, man. I'm going because it was a blessing.
All right.
Yeah, my bad. My mic was off. But yeah. Salute.
Salute, Reggie.
Mm-hmm.
So another question that arises, like as far as Trump, right? So Trump, he being a felon, that's what we was talking about. And a lot of people, they get discriminated when it comes to job placement in the United States. Is it something like is it something that can change, like with him being president and he having a felony?
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. He might change those rules. That's why I think he's good for the criminal justice system, because you know how felons can't vote and this and that in some states, or you got to reinstate your license to bear arms. He might want to change all of that stuff. You understand what I'm saying? And especially when you look at it's a strong, solid argument when you look at the statistics of everybody who has a conviction now. I think Trump is a wake up call to America, and I think his bad conduct or bad actions that he might install in this system is going to work out for the good, for the best. You know, I really
No,
do.
for sure. What you think about Trump making Elon Musk the what is it what is he again? What was his position, y'all? Y'all know? Anybody on Clubhouse? It's
Department of Government Efficiency.
Department of Government Efficiency.
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. You know, because when you start, see, you got politics, and then you got business, then you got business politics. If you understand what I'm saying, I see Elon Musk that's strictly business. You know, when you start bringing him into the politics, I don't know if that's a good thing. But then again, also I thought Trump wouldn't be a good thing in politics, but I see differently now. You know, you understand what I'm saying? Mainly because of the reactions. Like a lot of people thought that he would never even win. You know, and mainly because as you can see how our system is turning. At one time, we would never think that any president or anybody running for an election with a felony conviction would be successful. You know, especially for the president of the United States. You know, but you know, you got a double way to look at that. Maybe America just wasn't ready for a black female either. You know what I'm saying? But I see some changes that could be made for the better. You know, and those changes, the reason I see them being made and I see them having value is because I do believe that Trump is going to take all of the politics out of them. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to be changes based upon what he believes is right and what he believes is fair. You know, one of the things that I believe that should be changed is that paying or giving somebody something of value for their testimony. You know, that's I don't know. People just don't have any idea what that does and what it can do for our community, how it breaks up our community, man. It's bad enough, for example, we already got we killing each other with guns. Now we putting each other in jail through our testimony and stuff. And if we're not putting in jail because of the snitching and the non-snitching, we're separating each other. So we just dividing as a group and as a people, we're just dividing too much. You know, we can never do right by that. You know. Yeah.
My bad, my thing was on mute. But like, as far as the mayor, Rudy Giuliani, I think it is.
Uh-huh.
Do you think that he's going to go to jail?
That's going to be a tough one. I think they're going to push for him to go to jail. Whether or not he's going to go or not, I don't know. I got a feeling that one, with everything else that's going on, is going to play out. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to have that much weight to it, because I actually didn't know until he actually supported my honey business that he also has a prior felony conviction anyway. A lot of people don't even know that, you know. But you know, it sounds like they have a case against him, you know. But like I said, I don't know how far they're going to push it, you know.
Yeah, because Tommy, they took his law license away, right? They barred him. He's done. He's
right.
done.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He would never ever be able to practice again.
Mm-hmm.
And he got a large settlement against him too that they trying to collect on. He's kind of trying to get out of that. I think they took his homes or something like that too.
Yeah, but Trump could pardon him on certain crimes. He's out. Whatever state.
Right. Well, see, that's what like what Palmer was saying. I believe Trump is going to clean up a lot of that. Those people, you know, like just looking out for your own kind, like he's saying. Maybe pardoning or either reducing, because see, a lot of times you don't have to give a person a pardon on a clemency motion or a pardon motion as far as freeing them from jail. you can reduce their sentence. Like somebody can get a sentence for 50 years and you can reduce it down to 10 years and they got 7 in, so they have to do 3 more years, or you can just give them a pardon because you don't believe that it's fair. If you think about what Diddy's done and what Trump been accused of doing that he didn't go to trial for, they're like buddies. You know what I'm saying? Like, in Trump's eyes, Diddy's not doing anything wrong, unless they start involving or putting in kids, you know what I'm saying, underage, then, that's something Trump might want to stay away from, or
Right,
most
right.
people will stay away from.
That's a fact. And Prince, Prince, he's been released from jail. I know you said earlier, before we went live, that they trying to get together a movie. But what other things that's on his plate right now?
Well, right now, what he's doing is, I think he said Nas is in China. He's waiting on Nas, which I respect. And the reason being is because what a lot of people don't know is when Prince was locked up, almost like me, Palmer, and everybody, you do 20, 30 years, a lot of people stop supporting you. You don't have that concern about what you're doing and how you're doing. And with Prince, Nas always was there. Nas never backed down off of him. Actually, Nas put up the money for the documentary that he had on Showtime for him. That was even before he even got out or had a chance of getting out. But Nas invested the money for Prince on that. So, Prince has a lot of respect for him, and he shows that respect, He's a loyal guy when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? Like I heard that I don't know for sure, but I did hear that 50 Cent was trying to get at him, tried to do a movie, talk about he wanted to do the movie, but Prince just wasn't for it. It's a good business deal for him. So, it ain't the money, but it's just the let me talk to my man first, because my man was here for me. He looked out for me. I didn't know where you was when I was locked up for those years. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people, when you look at Prince and the Supreme team, you got to remember very few people was behind them. His guys, they financed a lot of people in getting their career started in the music world. And when they got picked up on their charge, the only people that was actually trying to help them or support them with any type of legal help or financial assistance was Herb Gotti and them, Murder Inc. And that's why the feds came in. You see how dirty they play? That's why the feds came in and charged Herb Gotti and them. They charged them with
their money.
Yep.
Right?
They burned up their money. They burned up their money.
I did an interview with Chris Gotti, and Chris Gotti, he was elaborating on that with me. He was saying that that's one of the reasons why the feds came, because they didn't want them to use their money to help him out.
Right. And so now going back to Prince again, Prince and Supreme, right? Both super drug kingpins with all of this money they allegedly made or should have made. They had court-appointed attorneys.
Right. That's crazy. It's crazy.
So that.
Go ahead.
So that's probably why nobody wanna none of the rich people you see standing next to Diddy. They ain't trying to get the feds on radar for them.
And that's correct. And see, that's why I said, Biddy, if you look at the picture, see, you got to understand how the feds operate. Diddy was charged by himself. Okay. Then he was not given a bail. He offered $50 million bail. Okay. And what they did when they showed these thousands of bottles of baby oil and stuff like that, they trying to show the people when they let these the tape leak out with Cassie, they trying to show these people, we not playing. Do you want to be next? Get out of here.
Right.
And that's what everybody did. They got out of there. You got to remember Herb Gotti with Murder Inc. He went broke after that. After that trial. That stuff drained all his money.
Is there any updates when it comes to Supreme? Because I think you said you was working
Supreme,
with him.
Supreme case had got I haven't been following as much as Prince because I've been working on, because Supreme does a lot of work on his own case. You know what I'm saying? But the last I remember, his case got vacated. They remanded it back to the district court, and I don't think the district court did anything with it yet. I think that they was waiting to see what was going on with Prince's case and stuff like that, and they agree that he should be resentenced, but they don't agree that he should be resentenced on all of the counts, and that's what the issue is. But he's entitled to be resentenced on all of the counts because the laws have changed since his conviction and sentence. And if he was sentenced and convicted for the same crime under the new laws that they're saying is unconstitutional today, his sentence will be a lot less than a life sentence.
Got you.
Mhm.
And you know, again, we had about 15,000 people come on the live for Death of the Cloud Chaser. So, you know, since salute to y'all, just get the likes up. If y'all can double tap the screen. We also are streaming on DOTCC clips page as well as Big Chuck page. So if y'all can get the likes up, get in the comments, just let us know what y'all think. Share this to y'all people, man. Somebody need to hear this. Come on now. Somebody
But
need to hear
Chuck,
this. Yep.
Chuck, don't disappear. Yeah, I want to ask him about that U visa. Hey,
No,
Chuck,
we
I'm
not
trying.
to disappear. I just want them to get the lights up. The lights up. Get the
Oh,
lights up. Go ahead. What about the U visa?
Yo, Tommy, do you know what a U visa is?
No, go ahead. What is it? Give me a little summary.
So I believe that's for people that's not U.S. citizens.
Okay, all right, yeah, all right, yeah, all right. I know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
So they can face deportation, right? They get deeper. They could get dipped back to their country, right? So
Right.
do they gotta cooperate with the U.S. government in order to get a U visa?
No, not necessarily. You know, they might ask that. You know, they might ask them to work. They might ask them to keep their eyes open while they're here in the United States, but not necessarily. Actually, Palmer just got finished fighting the case when we got him out of jail. He had to fight the deportation. They wanted him to deport back to Jamaica, but he had his family out here. He was able to prove his case, and that's what the key is. A lot of us, when we get caught up in these federal cases, right, we start fighting that lie and that non-existent case, and instead of fighting what's in front of us, the actual case. And that goes back to what Palmer was actually trying to say, as far as we have to educate ourselves, you know, as to the system, the rules and stuff like that, you know. And once we can do that, we stand a better chance of being successful and winning these cases, or getting the time we deserve instead of the time that they want to give us. You know, like if you just look at the offers that Thug had with his plea, the first one was probation. Then the second one's for 45 years. How the hell do you get from probation to 45 years? You know how you get there? Because the first one for probation required his testimony and him saying that this was an organization, and that, you know, he probably would be testifying against the other guys that's still on trial. All right. But when he turned that down, then the prosecutor wanted 45 years. So you see the theory, you see the game. He's a threat. He's not a threat to society. If he come on our side, our team, and work with us, we don't care. We can leave him out in the public. We can live him in your neighborhood around your kids. If he's dangerous, if he's a menace to society, we can live him there. Okay, because he's not living in my neighborhood. But however, if he chooses not to work with us, then he's a threat. He's a danger. We want him in jail for the rest of his life. And that's our American criminal justice system. And that's one of the things I said one time. I took my hat off to Trump when Trump was talking about that, and he was speaking about how that should be unlawful. It should be unlawful for any system to work like that or operate like that.
Yeah, yeah. And we got Clubhouse. Anybody on Clubhouse got any questions? Let's open the floor up. Do anybody got any questions on some of the topics that we discussed today?
Hey, what's going on? I got a question. It's King Amin from Chicago.
Go ahead, bro.
I see a lot of people in various platforms comment on the fact that Durk got these super souped up lawyers, and that, you know, the OTF members, they got public defenders as of right now, which we know things can possibly change. But my thing is, at this point in the game, shouldn't his own team have their own bread? I mean, I don't see him being up so much, and them they just having pennies, you know.
Yeah, that's like that. I definitely with that question, I definitely think that you're probably right. They definitely probably got some type of money. You know, that movement been going on for years. You from Chicago, I'm from Chicago, so I know that, and I know that some of these people that's involved is, you know, even cousins. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I definitely think that. Now, we was talking about it earlier before you came in. I was asking Tommy. I don't even know if I asked you on this or before out there, but I was asking Tommy about, you know, what is it going to take for Lil Durk to fight this particular case? Is it going to be $1 million? Is it going to be millions of dollars? And Tommy, if you can, you know what I'm saying, tell them about it.
Well, like I said, it's going to cost him a couple of million in each round, and you got 4 rounds. You got your pre-trial round, your trial, your appeal, and your post-conviction. But you're dealing with, when you're dealing with the federal system, right? Keep in mind, the money that most of these lawyers charge, or most people can pay, even P. Diddy, cannot compare to the resources that the federal government have. The federal government wears them down. It wears them down. Like in Lil Durk case, I probably wouldn't be surprised if he has another 3 or 4 indictments that come after this, where they're going to supersede the indictments, add more charges and stuff like that, and so on. And each time they do those, right, the lawyers want more money. It's more money, it's more time, it's more paperwork, you know?
Yeah, so like with that being said, I don't know if they probably got some money, but they might not have that type of money. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm saying they could beat them down if like, listen, how long Young Thug trial been going on? Almost 2 years now.
2 years. He was locked up for 29 months.
Right. And so I'm trying to say, when you start dealing with that and a lawyer, man, now when you look at that lawyer really, he's in a position where he almost can't take any other cases.
Facts.
You understand what I'm saying? And so now when he's on your case now, you talk about 2 year period, you could just imagine, man, how much that's costing, or how much it costs Young Thug, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, if I could add to that, you know, we got to see the whole larger scope of this. We just talking about, you know, individually him fighting this case, but if he legally, you know, is allowed to help people that's legally signed to his label, that's going to be some money for their lawyers. And then if you add in the lawsuit, he's going to have to fight with Mama Doug. It's going to be a whole nother set of lawyers, a whole nother team. So you're looking at a big money, you know, a lot of money being dished out.
Yeah, for sure. I think, and we were speaking on it earlier before we went live. You know, it's a chance, like Tommy Walker just addressed, like far as the superseding indictment, more things that could be added on. That, you know, it's a chance that they've been watching him for years. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And, you know, with that being said, it's going to be a lot of other things that's going to be added. Right now, they still in what phase is it, Tommy?
No, they still in the pretrial phase. But see, you got to remember now, not that superseding indictments. A lot of your superseding indictments come from the informants, people that come in and testify. Like, for example, they might have Lil Durk, and I'm just going to give you some small examples. They might have Lil Durk that's with one murder. But now you got somebody else who's charged with the RICO with him, and that person might be facing a life sentence. Now that person tells about another murder that they're not even aware of. Now you're looking at another indictment, another murder, another trial. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that goes on and on. Like if Palmer was still on, you probably asked Palmer. I think Palmer probably had about 4 indictments. I had 4 indictments. You know what I'm saying? I think Prince had 6 indictments. You know, the feds just do superseding indictments. They arrest you, and then they do the investigation. That's my opinion. They do the investigation after they got you arrested. They do all investigation, the interviews and stuff like that. And that's the same thing if you look at, pay close attention to P. Diddy's case. That's what's going on in P. Diddy's case. They only arrested him. You don't think they got more people that should be on there? You see they got the indictment alleges known and unknown. They're going to add them in there whenever they need them. Whenever they want to expand it, whenever they want to stop the clock to speedy trial, they're going to add on more co-defendants. They're going to extend the charges.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And you got anybody else got any other questions, or you done, King?
This would be my last piece right here. You know, I just want to also point out, you know, in the situation we so focused on, you know, the snitches involved in the case, or you know, who's cooperating. But I think what a lot of people are not really realizing is Quando Rondo in this situation, he's a witness and a victim by default, right? And another thing I noticed that's not being pointed out is that they had a whole entire RICO on Quando team right before this happened with Durk. Right. It's like nobody's talking about that. So, I'm not saying it's related by no means, but I just find that real odd that no one's mentioning that it wasn't no light shit, you know, shining on that.
I believe it's gonna be. I believe it's gonna be related in one of the in probably one of the predicate acts, because usually in those RICOs they allow the predicate acts to go back 10 years. You understand what I'm saying? They start connecting these crimes.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
I actually mentioned that a few times as well because apparently whoever would have gave that drop, LA ain't no small city. It's just like Chicago. It's a big city.
Mhm.
So everybody, you can kind of know each other, or I know somebody that know that person, but it's a big city, right? So I'm thinking whoever he was in communication with, he was like, yo, bro, I'm about to go fall over here. What I'm saying? I'm about to go get up over here and shit. So I'm straight, right? And they like, yeah, bro, you good. So if y'all notice on the video, the day, like the news footage, Quando Rondo was like, I don't got nothing to do with anything. He was crying. He was mad. He was like, yo, you could check my phone. Take my phone. Look at my phone. So I'm thinking whoever probably dropped his low was on that phone. You know what I'm saying? So, that's just my opinion. So I have spoke on that part, but yeah, man, it's a crazy situation, man. We got to see everything unfold right now so early in the game. But anybody else got any other questions?
Yeah, hold on. Focus said he about to pull up. Chuck.
All right. Yeah, so there go Hocus right there. Yo, Hocus, what's the word?
Yo, what's good, bro? I would have put up on the stream, but I'm out and about. What's the word, though?
No doubt, bro. No, we was talking about Lil Durk. We was talking about Diddy. We talked about Trump. We talked about, like, in regards to like the cases, the indictments that's being presented in front of our eyes. We touched bail. We ain't touched just fighting it. We touched like how much it could cost. For like Lil Durk fighting this particular case. Diddy putting up $50 million and still no bail. Is Trump, Trump being in office, is he going to be able to, is that a good thing for Diddy or is that a bad thing? We'll address that. I don't, what you want to chime in on, bro?
Um,
Oh yeah, they
yeah,
said the K Flock situation.
the K Flock. What's that?
The K Flock, they
K Flock.
yeah, K Flock. Tommy, some of your guys want Tommy to help out with K Flock.
Well, K Flock, he just put out a message that he'll be home sooner than niggas think. I guess he got some good news. He's still fighting his case. He got a good legal representation, and he's still fighting. We just got to wait and see. He's definitely going to trial, though.
Bring his charges down to Tommy though, because he actually don't know. So
I can't break you down all his charges. I don't know all his charges, but I do know he has a RICO, and he do have a murder on his charges.
In each state, right?
No. The feds picked him up.
Okay.
Yeah, the feds picked it up.
Yeah, usually when you're looking at them RICOs, a RICO, for a lot of people don't know, RICO has it's like a triple penalty. The first penalty is any amount of years to 20 years if you just charged with the RICO or the RICO conspiracy. But based upon the predicate acts can take that sentence from the maximum being 0 to 20. It could take it to a life sentence if murders are involved. And usually when murders are involved, you're looking at a life sentence, because in convicting on the RICO, you need 2 predicate acts. And clearly if that murder is involved, that murder is going to be one of the predicate acts. So if the jury come back with guilty on one of the predicate acts being a murder, then he'll be looking at a mandatory life in the federal system.
That's basically what he charged with, murder and RICO.
Okay. Any guns? 924C, 924J?
Well, I know they also got assault with a deadly weapon and conspiracy. That I guess that's what it was when it was in the state. But then once the feds pick it up, I guess that's when it becomes RICO.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
we will have to
yeah,
review that whole case. So,
yeah, I think Tommy got to
um,
look into it more because Hocus, you interviewed Tommy before where he want to make sure you got facts when he's speaking. So you know what I'm saying.
yeah, we're gonna get that whole case.
Yeah, because you know
Uh,
the most important thing to remember is that RICO charge. RICO charges are hard to beat, man. You understand what I'm saying? Because they can use the criminal activity going back to 10 years. You know what I'm saying? And most people, when they're out there in the streets and committing crimes 5 years ago, 3 years ago, they don't forgot about what they did and how they did it. You know, and then you'll find somebody who'll come up with a story and put the story together because they're trying to get their get out of jail free card and you know.
No
Hey,
doubt.
yo, tell me, then Harvey Weinstein, then he like appealed his charges and they dismissed some of them shits in New York. Like, but I think he still had charges in some other states that he was still like fighting and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Yeah,
you, do you know the charges that was appealed in New York?
do I know him?
Yeah, for Harvey Weinstein,
No, no, no. I
yes,
don't. I don't know him off the top of my head. No. But see that could happen. But see, you got to remember when you're dealing with RICOs and conspiracies, right? A lot of times, and this is very important for the guy who's talking about the RICO charge, that you're being convicted of crimes that's not even charged in your indictment. You know, when they hear the testimony, they putting together over acts that's not charged or crimes that's not charged based upon testimony and crimes that never even went before the federal grand jury. And sometimes they're convicting you on those crimes alone. Mm.
Before we get up out of here, Tommy, if you can give us a Guy Fisher update, like, do we got a movie coming? Like,
Yeah,
want to see his story?
guy. I went down this week to New York and talked to a producer and stuff that's working on actually it's supposed to be the same producer working on the Guy Fisher movie and also the Prince movie. You know, if they come to light and stuff. The problem with Guy Fisher is he's up there in age. I think he's 78 years old, and he has a little dementia. So the people they're trying to put the movie together not so much with his input because his memory is not that good no more. So they're trying to get in touch with a lot of family members and friends that know him and that know his situation and trying to get the story from that way. But they're definitely working on it, trying to get it going.
No doubt, no doubt. And then, bro, your story, because I was just telling you about a movie, and I've been seeing different movies like this with this type of structure,
Mm-hmm.
and this is real life. You did all them years, you freed yourself, you ain't help. How many individuals you ain't help so far?
Man, listen, I'll be honest with you, man. I stopped counting. You know what
But
I'm
it's in the
saying? When it's
hundreds,
not
right?
that, yeah, it's more than the hundreds. It's probably in the thousands by now. And
Wow.
Palmer will probably be able to tell you when I went to court in my hearing. If you look at my my case is like I said is 95-CR-101. When the judge released me, we produced testimony of a lot of people that I helped get out of jail, and at that particular time, and Palmer was one of the guys that was with us. We had maybe about 100 people that dedicated time to the library and working on cases and helping each other with their cases and stuff like that and so on. And 97 of us is about home now, and there's about 3 that we still trying to free, trying to get up out of there. You know what I'm saying? You know, like if you see how recent Palmer was 17 months ago, he just got home. You know, and like I said, we've been pushing it. You know, since I've been out, I know I helped get over 20 something odd people home with life sentences. You know, to add on to that list. Mm.
Yeah, and then I know some people just coming in, they just falling in, but this man is behind freeing some of America's biggest kingpins. And a lot of times we hear about these stories, we see where these people come from, and it's just bigger than just drugs and murder, 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 kill, kill, kill. These people are people too, and a lot of times the U.S. government, they tend to add stuff that's not true, and it's an unfortunate situation, but we do got brothers like Tommy Walker, standing 10 toes down, trying to help individuals. Hey, Tommy, can you let them know where they can get in touch with you? Because it's probably somebody watching. And this is the thing, y'all. Share this to your people, man. Send it to on Facebook Messenger. Hey, check this video out. They dropping some jewels. You know what I'm saying? And another way you can actually get in contact with Tommy Walker, say you got a family member or say it's you. You know what I'm saying? You looking at something that's could be devastating, you know, as far as the federal government coming for you. You know, maybe Tommy can help you. And Tommy, if you can let them know where they can find you at, bro.
Okay. They can find me at Second Chance for Real. The 4 is the number 4. That's my website. It's 2ND Chance, CHANCE, number 4, Real, REAL. That's our website on there. On our website, we also have an app that's free where you can communicate with that app. That app is giving you 30 years experience from me and who I am. It's giving you years of experience of database computers, books, and knowledge that I downloaded into the app to almost answer every possible legal question that you can come up with. You know what I'm saying? And the app is free to the first of the year. If after the first year of the year, we probably be charging for use, but you can also let us know what kinks you might think is in there so we can straighten it out and give you the answers that you need, especially in a time of need, because you might be in a situation where you can't get in touch with your lawyer, your paralegals, or your friends, or nobody to call, and you can actually call that app on the phone, which everybody keeps their phones with them all day long now. You can call the app on the phone and give them the situation. You know, listen, I just got pulled over by the cops. They want to search my car. What can I do? What rights am I entitled to? And the app will explain everything to
Right.
you.
I'm driving with no license. What should I do? What should I tell them? You know, even down to like just even not just with criminal, I actually used the app and I had searched like how do I file a credit dispute using Metro 2? And that's one of the newest forms of credit repair right now. And it actually just broke it down, gave me everything, and all I had to do is basically print it out and fill out the information. You know, so it's dope legal. You know what I'm saying? It's as far as legal terms and you know just doing things just everyday life. You know, that app is good to have. You know, I definitely got it locked in my phone, you know, and even when it's go for charge, I'm gonna go ahead and pay out the year because I'm pretty sure that option will be available. So I always have it on my phone because I really I enjoy it. Is I can utilize it. And then another thing, me being a blogger. So some of these things that come up, or you being a person that watch, you know, the blogs and they telling you one thing, you can double back, go to the app. Hey, Lil Durk, what's up with this? What he charged with? It's gonna boop 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 pull all that up for you. Even give you the links to the pacer, and you will be able to download the actual file. You know, and I know a lot of people, even myself, you know, I still to this day have other people look up pacer for me when I have a pacer account, but it's just it's not so easy for me. You know, maybe it's my brain, but it's just not so easy. But this app allows me to even do that. You know, so salute to you, Tommy.
Thank you, bro.
But yeah, man, we gonna get up out of here. We definitely gonna have Tommy on again. You know, as things update, we definitely want to update y'all on. Like I said, this live we had 22,000 people come through. You know, the other channels I don't know, but this is definitely better than the last. The last I think it was 6,000, so we had 22,000 this round. And just keep supporting, man. When y'all see Tommy name pop up, man, y'all know what to do. Click that shit. Get your questions ready, man. Until the next one. You got anything you want to leave them with?
No, I just want to say, bro, I thank you, man, and I thank I thank your people for being respectful. I've been on so many podcasts, man, and a lot of times people are out trying to out talk each other, trying to prove people wrong and stuff like that, and that was part of my reasons for putting this app together too, so people can verify and fact check, you know, and that's why, you know, when I speak about my case, I give the site number, so if somebody want to pull it up and see and verify whether or not what I'm saying is truthful or not, you know. You know, I think that you should like my friend Palmer said, keep this going, man, because we have to educate our people, because a lot of times it's not that we make wrong decisions. We just don't withhold the information to make the right decision. You know what I'm saying? And so we can get caught up in a situation if you don't have the information at hand, or you don't have somebody you can call and talk to because they're on the phone, they're busy, or they're doing something that's more important than what you need. Then that app could help you out. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I said I love it so much. I want to give it out free to let people see exactly what it could do for you. But I know I can't continuously afford to
because you
give it
gotta
out.
have it getting updated. It's
Right? Yeah.
time
Exactly.
out of your day. So I definitely think it's we pay for, like, it's people that got freaking subscription services to these different television networks they don't even log into. It's taking money out every month.
Right.
So something that you can actually utilize, like, you might not get pulled over every day, but when you do get pulled over, this is when it's gonna count. That shit can help you the whole year. You've been paying for it that one time that you need it.
Right. It's
To help
coming
you.
right.
Yeah.
It could even be a situation like I ran into one time with my grandson. They called me from the school that he had a knife in the school. They found a knife in his locker. I didn't know what to do. You understand what I'm saying? Had I had that app, I could have called the app and say, "Listen, my grandson just got caught in school with a knife. What are his rights? Should I call a lawyer? Should I call the police? You know what I'm saying? What should I do? What am I entitled to?" And it would have explained everything to me.
No, for sure. Man, I appreciate you, Tommy, again, man. We definitely gonna lock in again in the next couple of weeks. We're gonna definitely keep this going. And as soon as it start moving, shit, I want to pay you. So,
Right.
I gotta go back to work tomorrow, Saturday. I still gotta do my job, but like I said, I appreciate anybody that gives us time, and especially this type of knowledge, man, because you can watch this video 5 years from now. The information still gonna be the same.
Right.
So salute to you, bro.
All right, brother. Good night, man. God bless all you.
Yep. God bless.